GodEdians, and welcome back to GodEd. I hope that you've all had a wonderful and productive week. Let's start with today's lesson with People of the Veldt.
The Israelites were trudging across a hot and dusty desert towards Canaan, the land God had promised to give them. The land was brown and dry. In fact, they couldn't see any water anyway. They carried water to drink, but their jugs were almost empty. What would happen when their water was finally gone? They began to worry and complain. "I'm tired of all this walking," said one. "I'm hot," said another. "I'm thirsty," said someone else. On and on the people walked, following the white cloud in the sky. Their mouths were dry and their throats were parched. It's bad enough to be hungry when you are trampling through dry, parched country, but it is far worse to be thirsty. Everybody longed for a drink of cool water. They came to a spot where the clouds stopped. "Let us put up our tents to shelter us from the sun," said the people. "Then we will look for water." They looked and looked everywhere, but they could not find water. This made the people very unhappy. "Let's find Moses," they said. "He is the one who took us away from our home in Egypt. Because of him, we are in this hot place with no water." The angry crowd found Moses. "Give us water," they threatened. "Why did you bring us here to die of thirst?" Moses was worried and a bit afraid. The people were angry. Moses decided to talk to God. Moses left the people. He found a place where he could be alone. Then he prayed to God for help. "What should I do with these unhappy people?" he asked. God said to Moses, "Take the elders of Israel with you and lead the people out to Mount Horeb. I will meet you there. And there at the rock, strike it with your rod, the same rod which you struck the Nile. Water will come pouring out of the rock, water enough for everybody." When the large company reached the spot that God had indicated, Moses faced the angry crowd and thirsty men and women whose little children were crying for water. He asked them to gather around. Then Moses did as he was told. He struck the rock as God has commanded, and suddenly there was burst forth from the stone a stream of water. Water to drink, water to clean their clothes, water for the animals too. They knelt down by the stream of water and drank as much as they could. Now everybody was happy again. But would the Israelites remember the miracle the next time they were in trouble?
So, today we're talking about water conservation. If you didn't watch my last week's video, please go back and watch it, because I talk about something called mutual custodianship, which is we need to take care of the earth so the earth can take care of us. Because if we don't take care of the earth and the earth dies, we cannot survive. And today we're going to talk about water and how important water is, which I'm sure you got from the people of the Veldt. In the story of the people of the Veldt, we see that the people need water to live. You can't go too long without having water. And they were like, we're going to die if we don't get water. And if you're living in a desert, water's not as easy to come by. And so Moses prays to God and he strikes a rock and water comes out and everybody's happy for a short period of time. And then they complain about something else, but that's the Israelites. We've done these stories before, we know that. But water is an incredibly important thing. We often take water for granted. We take the fact that we can open a tap and water comes out, that scientists have taken dirty water and filtered it so that we can drink it. We often will buy bottled water, and that's not great for the environment either, but that's a whole different conversation for a different day. Water is this incredibly important thing that we don't even think about, because we can just turn a tap on and we have it. And so today I really want to talk about that. We have problems in terms of water pollution. So You all know how water works. Rain comes down, it fills the rivers go through, and eventually it makes its way back out into the ocean. And when we start manipulating water or the rivers, we break up the system that has naturally been put there so that everything works well together. And when we start polluting with things like plastics or rubbish, then our drinking water gets polluted and we can't drink it. And then we have the scientists that are very clever that have worked out ways to filter it, and we've found ways to pump it so that it can come into our houses. Anybody that has ever had to go a couple of days or a day without water knows that it is one of the most frustrating and awful things. If you can't shower or cook your food or make a cup of tea or just drink a glass of water, you feel awful when you don't have it. People that have gone through something like dehydration will tell you how important water is for you. You can even see it within your own skin. If you're not drinking enough water, you can see that your skin doesn't feel as good, and your body doesn't feel as good if you don't drink enough water. And when I was growing up, it was a constant fight about drinking water in my household, because I was like, I'd rather have juice because it's got sugar in it, and that's a whole other debate in itself. But now I really enjoy the taste of water, and I feel how good it is in my body and how much I need it. Throughout the Bible, we have a whole theme of living water and how Jesus is the living water in the spiritual sense of it, but we need water in the physical sense of it. And so we have to start taking a look at our own lives and looking at how we look at water to know that it is important and we should treasure it. Anything that is important, we should take care of. I know for myself, I have items that I love and I take care of, and I put away carefully, and I lock away my jewelry that's important to me, or I take care of the electronics like my phone that's important to me. But do we really think about water? Do we really think about how important water is? And it's simple things. Do you leave the tap running when you're brushing your teeth? Do you take a shower longer than 10 minutes? For every 3 minutes in a shower is 10 liters of water. Do we think about the clothes that we buy? Because if you're buying a lot of clothing, the amount of water that goes into that clothing, it's a lot to make it when we dye. Things like jeans take a lot of water to make. And it's in everything. Do we water our gardens in the mornings or the evenings, because then it won't evaporate too quickly and we don't waste that water? When we think about using plastics, remember that a large amount of our oxygen comes from the plants and the algae in the ocean. And when we're polluting the ocean with our plastics, those things die, and then so will we. We have to be conscious all the time. And I know it's hard and it's exhausting and we don't like doing it. But it is important for us to understand that if we don't have these things, we can't live. And we're privileged enough to be able to open a tap and have water. We are, most of us are. And we forget that there are others that aren't, that have to go to the rivers, or they have to walk a long way to open a tap to get water. And we forget that we shouldn't waste it. We can start making small differences every day that will impact in a big scale later. And I'm not saying we shouldn't enjoy water. I like swimming, running through sprinklers, but we need to be conscious of when we do things, how we do things. If we have a leak in our pool, we got to understand that's a waste. To know that we have to be careful with these things that are important in order for our living. For today's activity, what I want to do is this. There is a craft in the curriculum if you want to go and have a look at it, but I want to play a game because I love playing games, because games are fun. So what you need is 2 buckets or 2 containers. One you're going to fill with water. Then I want you to find a cup, like a cardboard cup, or a bottle that you don't need anymore, that you're going to recycle, and I want you to put holes in that bottle or that cup. You are then going to fill up the cup or the bottle, and you're going to run from the one container to the other. and you've got to try and fill up the other container as quickly as you can without losing the water. And the point of this activity is to see that we can still use water, but we need to be precious and cautious with it, and to see how quickly you can get it across without losing as much water as you can. And the first team or the first group, or even if it's just you against yourself, to see how quickly you can fill the other bucket, that is the point of the game. But have fun with it, play outside, it's beautiful, enjoy it, and if you can, take some videos, let me see them, it'll be awesome to see what you have done. With that, let us do the blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord give you his peace. Amen. Remember, GodEd is now open for in-person services. If you want to come through to the church and see me, it would be lovely to see all of you. And we will still be putting out videos in the afternoons after the services. If you miss church and you still want to do the lessons, you can still find them available on our YouTube channel. We'll hopefully see you all next week. Bye.